spotlighting the very best at Geneva College Golden Tornado Athletics. This is Tornado Tuesday. And now, here are your hosts, Van Zanic and Andrew Fee.
Welcome back to Tornado Tuesdays. We're back with another virtual episode and excited to recap some games. Unfortunately, later in the week didn't go as well last week as we wanted it to, but it was exciting to see some action back on the home court.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking with President Trout late on Friday before the games on Saturday, and just to know that we were having some home competitions. We'd had some at that point, and then the women's basketball team opened up their home season on Saturday. So, you know, thinking about where we were just a few months ago, and thinking about if this was ever going to happen, it's just, you know, and I'm not just saying that because we didn't win on Saturday. I'm saying that because truthfully, it just feels good for the students to be able to compete. Now we want to be successful, and I think ultimately we will have some good years, but I just really wanted to reflect on where we've come from and all the work that has gone into putting these games on. And it's been a challenge, no doubt. We're really proud of the effort of the student athletes, really all the students on Geneva's campus. Things have been pretty good so far this semester. So we have a path to continue to play, and we keep testing our students, and hopefully we keep rolling without much more disruption.
Yeah, and I think, you know, the men's volleyball team lost 3-1 to Lancaster Bible on Saturday at home. We talked about it last week. Lancaster Bible is a very good program. They, you know, I think Lancaster's still trying to put the pieces together on their side, and we are as well. And then our women's team came off a big win in Franciscan and struggled early. I would say they probably played the worst half that they could play, and St. Vincent probably played the best half that they could play, which, you know, is never going to be a good matchup. And then our men had their first game at St. Vincent, played decent at times, but just ultimately need to make more shots.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you talk to all three coaches, Coach Sanacera, Coach Griner, and Coach Consar, I mean, I think all three of them will tell you that they could play better, and they will. And I think that's kind of the model that, you know, you kind of want to follow. You never want to play terrible, but you want to be playing your best, and especially in basketball where the PAC has set things up that all the teams are making the postseason tournament. So clearly, you want to be playing your best down the stretch. Not that these regular season games don't mean anything, because they do, and for seeding and all those other things. So you want to get your kids you know, in the right frame of mind for sure. But, you know, you look at the volleyball team, talk to Coach Consor a lot after the match, and they are moving some pieces around and trying to figure out what their best set is. And I give them credit for playing a tough schedule, non-conference. And, you know, we gave the volleyball team the opportunity to play outside of the AMCC, something they were allowed to do. But, you know, they played Mount Union, which is very much improved, Lancaster Bible, which has always been nationally ranked. They have Juniata on the schedule next Saturday, which they're perennial power as well. So, you know, you give Coach a lot of credit for playing those teams early in the season, and hopefully that will bode well for them moving forward when conference play starts in March. In terms of the women's basketball team, yeah, I mean, Coach Griner, we've talked to him a lot, several times on this program, and you know, when you have that many first-year players coming in trying to be impactful, you never are exactly sure what you're going to get, and you got kind of the ugly side on Saturday and couldn't make shots. And St. Vincent, like you said, I mean, they're always a very good team, but not that good. And so, I mean, everything that could have gone right for them went right. And I'll give the ladies credit. I mean, you know, as poorly as the first half went, they outscored St. Vincent in the second half, and I really played them even, and maybe even outplayed them a bit. So that shows a lot about character, a team that's not going to give up. And there's going to be a lot of wins for this program this year. I'm confident of that. Love what they're doing athletically in terms of the players they brought in. And then the men's team, a 2-point loss. I mean, you know, again, on the road, things are always difficult to do, but I think Coach Sanacera will tell you they could play much better. Shooting the basketball, I mean, you know, they 9 for 40 or something like that from 3-point range. I mean, I don't think the game plan going in is to shoot that many threes, but when you do, you know, you figure you make one more out of all that and you win the game. So a lot of good stuff again coming from that team. And again, I anticipate them having a solid semester here, and looking forward to what that team's going to look like, you know, 3-4 weeks from now.
Yeah, a different style of basketball than Geneva College might be used to with both programs. I mean, we shot 82 combined 3-pointers on Saturday. Um, we didn't make nearly as many as we would have liked to, but definitely a different style. And it's easy to say when you don't make them that we should shoot less. But if we made 40 out of the 82, we wouldn't be having that conversation. So we'll just have to see, how the season progresses with the shooting. And being the men's first game out of the gate is tough, but the women also played a game and then we're off a whole week. So that doesn't get you into much of a rhythm either. So definitely good things ahead. And of course, this show is pre-recorded on Monday. So we both programs will play Waynesburg tonight. And Van, why not? Give us a prediction.
Well, nothing like putting the AD on the spot, right, for the basketball teams. But no, I feel good about both of them. I really do. I mean, we've seen some results already early in the season, and I think our women will bode well. I mean, they obviously have gone on the road once and won already. So, I look for them to be successful. And the guys, I know they're going to be really excited to get on the home court for the first time. And they always play well here. So you hope that they can shoot it a little bit better. If they, like you said, I mean, they shoot 33% from 3-point range. I think they're in a pretty good spot. So they're going to battle for sure. But yeah, I would be surprised if either of them get beats tonight. I think we get 2 wins tonight. So hopefully next week we'll be talking about that. And by the time this show airs, you'll know if I was right or wrong. So we'll figure it out.
There you go. I think one thing I pointed this out last week, but seeing the cardboard cutouts, the fans in the stands at the games was really enjoyable, and just a reminder of all the support from alumni, parents, and friends of the college that bought a cutout. That was just really cool to see. And we can say, because we were here, the student athletes that were playing were just joyous about seeing their family members and the campus cat in the stands.
Well, you have something successful when everyone's over there taking selfies during pregame and taking pictures and sending them to their parents. And I think some of it was a surprise. Some of them might not have known that was happening. So they see a parent in the crowd that they didn't know was going to be there. So yeah, it's a great program. It's a great way for us to raise some funds for COVID related expenses and things like that. And so I think the students really bought into it. And then we did have a handful, a small amount of students and staff that were here for the game Saturday night. And that went well too. So we're glad we have the opportunity to at least give some of our folks an opportunity to come in and watch some sports this semester. So I know they appreciate that as well.
Yeah, so we won't have any interviews. We thought about doing some interviews, but I really think the players that shined in those games are going to have better weeks ahead. So we're going to save them for maybe after a victory. But I do want to just talk about one update. The Division III council decided to cancel the winter championships this past week. And that was a tough decision for the student athletes. But Van, why don't you just talk through why that happened, and then also touch on indoor track, what we're doing.
Yeah, I think so. Disappointing. I mean, not that the student athletes haven't been disappointed already throughout this whole pandemic, but it was a decision that was not unexpected. We've heard rumblings through really the last several months that it was very unlikely that the NCAA Division III would go forward with their winter championships. And so we're talking about men's and women's basketball, indoor track and field, wrestling, swimming, and diving. So the PAC, of course, had previously canceled the indoor season, primarily because none of our indoor track teams have a facility to be able to practice or compete. And so being able to do so would mean getting off of our campuses, which, of course, the presidents really didn't want us to do, going somewhere where our student athletes were normally supposed to be. So because of that, they made the decision to cancel the PAC indoor track and field meet. Some schools were able to go forward. Those athletes that maybe had an opportunity to qualify elsewhere to go to a national meet. Geneva was in that situation the first weekend of the season. We did send some track athletes to a meet at YSU. I think we had 7 or 8 folks were competing. They were scheduled to go this past weekend to Tiffin to do the same. But once the decision came down from the NCAA to cancel the national meet, national championships, we pulled the plug on indoor track and field. It's just not worth the risk of sending our students somewhere competing when there's nothing really to compete for. I mean, they can qualify or they can improve their times, but there's no national meet to qualify for. So it's a really hard pill to swallow for some of our athletes, because we did legitimately have a couple athletes, Olivia Younger and Dawn Data. They've been successful in years past, and I think they have a legitimate chance to qualify nationally. So I know disappointed for them for sure. But they have an opportunity now to start training for the outdoor season, and I think that's something that we're obviously looking forward to. The men have clearly had an amazing run here in outdoor, and I think our women are going to have a great season as well. So disappointing for sure. Surprising, no. They sent a survey to all the athletic directors in Division III probably about a month ago, just to get a feel for, if you qualified for a national tournament, how many schools would be willing to go. And they set those numbers at a certain threshold that they had to meet in order to maintain that championship, and it just simply didn't meet it in any of the sports. And so there were just too many schools unwilling to compete nationally, and so they pulled the plug on it. And again, just another disappointing blow to some of our student athletes. But fortunately, we have the President's Athletic Conference, and for the majority of our kids, we're going to have an opportunity to compete for a conference title.
Yeah, and I think it's disappointing to the student athletes, of course, but all of our indoor track and field student athletes will be back that had a chance to qualify, a real chance to qualify. Will be back to compete indoor next year as well.
Sure.
So yeah, they lost something, but we're thankful that they get the opportunity to come back and have another season. So just looking ahead, again, Waynesburg Monday night, and then Washington and Jefferson basketball Wednesday night. And then, as you mentioned previously, men's volleyball will host Juniata on Saturday, and both basketball teams will compete against Grove City. So a busy week, Geneva Athletics. Hopefully, we see a little more success this week. I'm able to host some student athletes on the show next week that had some good games. But we're really looking forward to it. Again, we're just so grateful to have the opportunity to be playing sports again this year.
I should mention too, Andrew, one of the other tidbits with the national championship being was the ability to move the basketball season back a bit. So once those championships were canceled, we were no longer tied to a specific date for the PAC championship. And so the presidents, I think wisely so, pushed those dates back about 10 days, 2 weeks later. And what that's going to enable us to do is to fill those last couple weeks of games that have been postponed because of COVID. And we've had significant postponements already. We still have a few teams that are down in the PAC. Obviously, our men's team was quarantined there to start the season. So we were able to push one of our games back. The men's basketball game that was previously postponed with Franciscan is now Saturday, March 6th. And we were able to fill the men's and women's game with Westminster on Wednesday, February 24th. We had a similar off day with Westminster. So both of those games have been rescheduled. So as of now, everything's on the schedule for men's and women's basketball. We just hope and pray that we can just continue to move forward without interruption. And the championship now for men's and women's basketball will be run over a full week, March 13th through March 20th. So the first round on the 13th Saturday, and then the championships are scheduled for Saturday, March 20th. Hopefully our teams will be there.
Yeah, I hope so. And I think, like you said, everyone gets an opportunity to get to the tournament this year. We're hopeful, that all of our teams will be performing the best at the end of the season as they start to work out these kinks early on. So, Van, any final thoughts?
No, just looking forward to a busy week. I've spent enough time sitting at home, and sitting on the couch waiting for stuff to happen, watching all the professional sports and Division I athletes go at it. So it's nice to have, basically a full week of athletics here at Geneva. Looking forward to it. And I know our student athletes are as well. And for me, that's really the most important piece. So all the hard work we've been working throughout the semester and last fall, starting to pay dividends for our kids to get out there and compete. So thankful for that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thanks for watching. Hope we'll be back next week, hopefully with some student athlete interviews and some successful games to talk about. So thanks.
Thanks.